What is the number one skill you need to learn when it comes to digital marketing? Now, what I'm about to share with you, many of you might be surprised, but trust me, just stay with me till the end of the video so you get the full perspective. After about 15 years of working in the digital marketing space, working for over 50 plus brands across multiple verticals and across multiple regions, I have come to the conclusion that this is the number one skill every digital marketer needs to learn. And I'm not going to take too much of your time. I'm going to show you what that skill is. And I want you to stay with me till the end of the video so you get the full perspective of it. Please do not click out of this video. It's very, very important so that you understand the full gist. So let's get straight into it. This number one skill is something I refer to as the big picture. Now, let me explain. Every business, every company, every brand, every client has one or two or whatever number of business objectives that they have. Every company, every year, every quarter, whatever the season is, they have a business objective, which could be we want to increase our revenue by, say, 50%. We want to increase our profitability by, say, 15%. We want to increase our gross margins by X. There's a very, very clear financial business objective. Now, as a digital marketer, your first responsibility, which is where this skill comes into play, is that you have to figure out how does what I am doing as a digital marketer, how does it contribute to the overall business objective of increasing revenue, of increasing margin, or whatever it is? How does it drive that? People, this is the number one skill you need to understand. You need to understand how what you are doing with digital marketing, is driving this overall business objective. And I'm going to share some thoughts with you before the end of this video. But trust me, this is the number one skill. If you don't get this, trust me, within a few years, you start to realize that you are not growing beyond a certain level in your career. I did a video about how you can grow in your career when it comes to digital marketing. I'll leave a link in the description. Everything in that video, which I think you should check out, does not matter if you don't get this. You have to understand how what you're doing within digital marketing is driving the overall business objective. I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. This is the number one skill. Now, I have a podcast called The Diary of a CMO. I'm going to leave a link in the description to that. On the Diary of a CMO podcast, I had a guest recently called Kenzie. Kenzie is a group executive, pretty much a group CMO at Nedbank. It's Africa's fourth largest bank at the time of this presentation. And one of the things Kenzie said was that you have to think about marketing as a value creator, not as a cost center. You have to figure out how does marketing, by extension, digital marketing, how does it drive real business value, real business financial value. You have to figure that out. I think you should check out the podcast as well. There's a bunch of conversations I have there with different CMOs across the world. I'm very, very sure that you're going to find something very useful there. But that's not the purpose of this, is that you have to figure out how does digital marketing, how does marketing create real financial value for the business? Now, this is where you start. What is the overall business objective? Is it to build brand value, which I'll talk about in this video before we end this video? Is it to increase the revenue of the business by 35% or by whatever percent year on year? What is that business objective? When you figure out or when you highlight that business objective, the next thing you want to ask yourself is to think about it. To think about it in the form of a funnel. Is that at the top of that funnel is the business objective, which the CEO with the board or whatever set. This year, this is what we want to do. This is what we want to do. We want to increase revenue by 35%. When you come to the next level of that overall objective, it's a channel objective, which is where the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer, distills that business objective into a channel level objective. You want to ask, this is where you want to ask the question, what is the role of marketing in delivering this overall business objective? I hope you're sticking with me here. And then when you get to the bottom of this funnel, which is where you sit as the digital marketer or the head of digital or whatever it is, you want to distill the channel level objective down to this platform level objective. You want to ask yourself the question, what is the role of digital? Guys, this is the most important skill you have to develop as a digital marketer or as a marketer point blank, is that you have to understand how you distill the business objective down to channel level objective, down to the platform level objective. There's a whole I can put it together a whole video on that and really go into great detail. But in this video I can't cover that like fully. But I want you to walk away with the gist of it. The gist is you have to understand how you distill business objectives at that level down to a channel level objective at this level and all the way down to digital marketing. This is your number one skill, guys. This is your number one skill. This is your number one skill. This is the number one thing you need to understand. If you don't get this, guys, I honestly, I can't, again, I said earlier, I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. This is the number one skill you have to understand. You have to get this. You really, really have to get this. By the time you're watching this video, if I'm done with that fuller video, which really is a big session on the new fundamentals of digital marketing, that's a webinar that's coming up very soon, or live event that's coming up very soon. I want you to, watch out for that. If it's not out yet, if it's out by the time you're watching this video, I have the link in the description. If it's not out yet, make sure to make sure to check that out when it publishes, when I publish it. So all you have to do is subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when that video is ready, you get to know that it's ready and you can watch it. So in that video, I go into greater detail about how you do this, but I'm not done here. Now, this is an example, right, guys? If you have, for example, growing summer sales by 40% year on year as a business objective, your digital objective can be to grow e-commerce sales. Remember, summer sales is not just going to be on digital platforms. You can have in-store, you can have some partnerships, a bunch of different things you can be doing. You can have influencer partnerships, a bunch of different things you can be doing. But for digital is that you want to grow the e-commerce sales by 25% by leveraging coupon redemption. That can be the digital objective responsible for driving that overall objective of growing summer sales. I hope you really get this. Please, guys, this is how you do it. I'll go over this again. If the overall business objective is to grow summer sales by 40%, assuming that you are a swimwear brand, you want to grow summer sales by 40% year on year, you want to distill that overall objective down to digital objective of growing e-commerce sales by 25% using coupon redemption. Now, remember, again, growing summer sales can be not just e-commerce, it can be influencer marketing, it can be in-store, it can be some strategic partnership with a distribution franchise, whatever it is. But for digital, you want to focus on e-commerce growth by X% using coupon redemption. This, I think, is a very good example, but you have to continue to push the envelope. But the thing here is that I don't want you to think that it's just e-commerce, because again, retail e-commerce is projected to hit 7 trillion by the end of 2025. Now, but in driving overall objective, remember we talked about building brand and also like these financial ones. Now, I want to talk about the brand side so that you get, that side of that as well. That how can digital drive, those kinds of brand objectives or building brand. Now, there's a list. There's a company called Interbrand, and they publish a list called the Best Global Brands Report. They publish it at the end of every year, and they recently published the one for 2024. And if you look at the list, for example, and I'm going to use this one as a very good example, they have Apple as the most valuable brand in the world. Now, based on their own investigations and using their own methodology, they have been able to estimate that the value of the Apple brand is about 490 billion dollars. That's what they estimate the value of the Apple brand to be, and that is about 15% of Apple's market cap. What that means is that by virtue of having the brand Apple, the market capitalization of Apple hits about 3.3 trillion. I'll say that again. Interbrand publishes this list every year, and on their recent list, Apple is the #1 most valuable brand in the world, and they valued that brand to worth about $490 billion. Meanwhile, Apple's market cap is about $3.3 trillion. That means the brand Apple is responsible for about 15% of Apple's market cap. That is how important it is to build brands. Do you see what I'm saying now? By building that Apple brand, Apple has been able to build value that's worth about 490 billion. So as a digital marketer, when the overall business objective is to build, the brand value, which is what we've explained just now, you have to figure out how can digital contribute to building that brand value, which by extension builds the market cap or the financial valuation or enterprise value of the business. These are the questions you have to be able to answer as a digital marketer. It's very, very, very critical. I think that I'm going to pull the curtains here. This for me is the #1 skill that you have to understand as a digital marketer. You have to be able to figure out how does what you are doing with digital marketing, how does it drive the overall business objective? When you figure out or when you highlight the overall business objective, whatever that is, you distill that to a marketing objective, which is the role of the CMO. And from that, you distill that to a digital objective, which is the role of the head of digital or digital marketing lead or whatever it is. This is the #1 skill you have to have. You have to be able to determine how what you are doing with digital marketing drives your business objectives. That's all I have for you guys in this video. As I said, there is a fuller version of this presentation, which is a live event that I am hosting called which is the New Fundamentals of Digital Marketing. This is one of those fundamentals, and in that video I go on to share the rest of the fundamentals, and you can find the link in the description to that video depending on when you are watching this. But if that video is not out yet, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that once that video is ready, you'll be the first to know. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching up until this point, and I'll see you in the next one.